That brings us to our topic anyway. That's a nice transition as far as who is this secret Ghostface. Now, first, let me tell you why I even think that there is a secret Ghostface. The reason why I think that there is a secret Ghostface is because there's always been two multiple killers, right? Now, in Scream 3, we only had the one. We only had Roman Bridger, right? And that's weird to me because if we remember Scream 1, we had our all-time favorites. At least they're my all-time favorites. Stu Macher and Billy Loomis, right? So we had two killers in Scream 1. Scream 2, we had two killers. We had, this the psycho film student Mickey, and we had Billy Loomis's mom avenging her son, right? The son she abandoned. Two killers. Scream 4. We're going to skip Scream 3 because we already know it's a run, but Scream 4, we had Jill, which was Sydney's cousin, and her secret boyfriend. Yes, the OGs are, it doesn't get better than Stu and Billy, right? But we had two killers in Scream 4. Scream 5, Stab Fanatics. We had Richie and what was her name? Was it Amber? I forget. I only saw it once. But Phil was here. Yes. Yes, that is Stu. Stu and Billy in that kitchen was crazy, was it not? Stu and Billy were tripping. And Billy was fucking Stu up. He was stabbing the crap. I was like, Billy, calm down. And I just rewatched Scream and the reason why we're talking about Scream is because this is my cycle. Spooky season comes around, I automatically watch Scream. It's my favorite horror franchise, hands down. It just is. I love it. There's a lot of great franchises out there. Um, Freddy Krueger used to be my favorite, but Scream I love the Scream franchise. And so I was watching it and I was like, I feel like Billy killed everybody. He killed until he fake died. Billy was killing everybody. That's a different topic. I don't want to get off off topic, but yeah. So there were two killers in Scream 4, two killers in Scream 5, three killers in Scream 6. Like, so why is it that for Scream 3 we only have Roman? And if you remember Scream 3, Ghostface was all over the house. I mean, all over Milton, that producer, all over the house. You can't tell me that he was doing all of that by himself, plus played dead down in the basement. I'm not buying it. I am not buying this concept that we only, out of, was it now, 6 films for Scream 3, we only get one. I am convinced that there had to be another killer. It could have been multiple. We don't know. But I would love it if they would reveal who the secret Ghostface was. Personally, I think that it was Detective Mark Kincaid. And I have always been suspicious of this dude since the first time I saw Scream 3. But I wasn't really like convinced until now. It was that damn Ray Donovan. Are you talking about Cotton Weary? Cotton died in the opening scene though. So it couldn't have been Cotton. I wouldn't have been mad at Cotton though. It would have made sense for Cotton Weary to be part of it, especially considering how screwed up he got, like how screwed he got in the whole situation, being falsely accused and everything. But I think it was Detective Mark Kincaid, and I'm going to tell you why. So, like a lot of the Ghostface people, he loves movies, but did he really? Yeah, I think he did because they showed the penetration and he was toe up. I would think so. It looked like he stabbed him right in his chest. The blood was gushing out. But Rob, you never know. You literally never know. I mean, because people, and I suspect that Stu Macher is still alive, but we will get there. We will get there. So anything is possible in movie land. But I'm not sold on Cotton though. I'm not sold on Cotton. I think Cotton is gone. But Detective Mark Kincaid, this dude has too much pointing to him. And so the fact that, I mean, some of these can be explained away, but when you tally it all up, it paints a picture. So he loves movies. They made that very clear with his character, that he loves movies. He's quoting them while he's on the, on the scene and stuff like that. He was obsessed with Sydney. He was all in her face. He was very obsessed with Sydney. Okay. So there's that element too. And remember, Sydney saw on his desk, he had like a file folder like this thick, just full of stuff. And sadly, I paused this time and I saw those articles, and a lot of those articles were talking about like school shootings and stuff, because that was what was going on when Scream 3 was shot. They were the whole Columbine issue had happened, and that is why the movie changed, because it was supposed to be something completely different, but they had to make some changes because and they talk about it in the movie, violence in cinema and how it's affecting the teens and stuff. But a lot of, I don't think one article that I saw in there had anything to do with Sydney beyond the headline. Movies need to do better with their articles, because some of us be pausing it and reading, and those articles didn't have anything to do with what was actually going on in the movie. But anyway, but so yeah, like he was obsessed with her and all in her face, and like so much so that his partner was like teasing him, or you're gonna go buy her some flowers and candy and all that other stuff. So I was like, okay. And like he was so upset, he was so mad. Remember when he was talking to Dewey at the station, and he was like, when it's a threat, you'll know it, and I need to talk to Sydney, and I need to do this. Now, we could just say he's just being a cop, right? Fair enough. But I just think it was a little too much for investigative, stuff. I was just like, you doing too much, fella. You doing too much. He admits to knowing his way around the studios, which would be very important for a Ghostface to know, especially when they were attacking Sydney, or when she had that attack on the set at the old Hillsborough set. Hillsborough, Lord have mercy. Woodsboro set. Him knowing his way around the studios is definitely something to just kind of jot down. And he talks about how he's haunted and how Hollywood is about death. He's just giving psycho killer to me when he talks like this, right? But there's other things too, like when they arrived at the studio, because you remember he was all, I need to talk to Sydney. I need to talk to her right now. She shows up, they go to the studio, and then he disappears. Where are you going? He's never around when things are going down. If you go back and watch the movie, he is an MIA, just like Billy was in Scream 1. That's my problem. That's another problem that I have with Mark. And I'm just like, where are you when things are happening? He's running up after the fact, just like Billy used to. So I'm like, okay. And then where are you running off to? Another time when he was at the when he left Sydney at the police station, he said, I believe that what you saw was real at the studio, right? When she got attacked. He leaves again, but he doesn't even tell his partner where he's going. And I know this because when Sydney was on the phone, you can hear them talking in the background. The other cops are like, hey, do you know where Kincaid is? And his partner's like, I don't know. The partner doesn't even know where he is. Why are you so unaccounted for? He's unaccounted for like 3 times. And I just think that is so odd. It's very suspicious. And he just keeps leaving. And let's see what else. I just have a couple notes here to make sure I stay on track. Then there was also this scene when he shows up at the house. This right here is what really got me thinking. Why are you holding the gun on Sydney like this? And why are you looking like this when they're questioning you? Because Dewey and Sydney were both questioning him when he popped up at Milton's house for the final act, right? All of that right there is giving me, I am caught, but I'm not going to tell you. I'm caught, but I'm not going to tell you. And then he pulls it back. Miss Prescott. Now he's all soft. You done had your gun trained on this girl for like the last 30 seconds, looking all kind of menacing. And now you want to try to be gentle and sweet with the Miss Prescott stuff. That was what really raised my antennas, was just like, something's off with this guy. I'm just not buying it. And once again, he's one of the people that Ghostface beats up, but conveniently doesn't kill, right? Close contact, but only gets like, a little cut on his nose. He gets beat up a little bit, but he doesn't get killed. Not even close. And so I'm just like very suspicious of this guy. So suspicious of him. So what does this mean? Like, let me pause right here. I want to know what you guys think. Like, what do you guys think about this? Do you think, like, is this suspicious to you, or are you just like, this is all circumstantial? Like, let me know before I move on. I'm kind of curious what you guys are thinking about him, because I do have like another big tell, and that was when he used Dewey's phone. Now, remember, they could not find Sydney. They could not find her for nothing. They called Cotton trying to find her. They were, whoever it was trying to draw her out of hiding. But he asked Dewey. Dewey had Sydney's phone number, and he asked for Dewey's phone. This was the biggest one for me. He asked for Dewey's phone right after they took Roman in for questioning. He said, I need to call this in. My phone is dead. Uh, Dewey, can I use your phone? He uses his phone. Thank you, Brandon. He uses Dewey's phone. And in the very next scene, Sydney gets a call at the house. Coincidence? I think not. But yeah, I'm like, this is screwy. This dude is part of, I'm convinced. I just think he's part of it. I don't know how. I don't know why, but I really think that he's part of this whole Ghostface web. Dude is super sus, because that phone is like undeniable to me. It's like you didn't use his phone, and now boom, she gets a call at home. Then the very next scene, not a couple scenes, the very next one, yeah. So how would he even fit into this Ghostface web, right? It's very possible with him growing up in Hollywood that he could be a friend of Roman's. He could be connected to Roman some way. They're both film enthusiasts. They both are in Hollywood. They could easily be friends. I mean, it's just like trying to ask, like, well, how did Billy get involved with Stu? It's just like, find somebody. And even Roman said it himself, you have a partner just in case, so you can have someone to frame. Why wouldn't Roman follow his own advice? He gave Stu and Billy the blueprint of how to do this whole thing. According to him, why wouldn't he take his own advice? Why wouldn't he have a partner to sell out and frame just in case? I'm just like, excuse me. I'm just like, yes, he is definitely, he's got to be part of this, but he could easily just be connected to Roman through Hollywood, right? Or follow me down this rabbit hole just a little bit. What if he's connected to Billy? What if, because if you notice, Billy's dad in Scream 1 is pretty old. He's like late 40s according to Scream Wiki. So he could have easily had some estranged son from his past that is like Billy's half brother. I mean, they got the hair. I'm just saying, it might be a stretch, but I'm just saying it's giving. It's a little Billy-ish. let's take a quick look at Billy again. They got the hair. I'm just saying, it's possible. It is possible that they could be related. They both are. They got the smolder. They got the hair. It's possible he could even be connected to Billy, but we wouldn't know that. They would have to tell us that. But he could easily be connected to Roman just by moving in the same circles in proximity. But let me tell you why I think this works. It actually, it can explain a lot. But first of all, it's consistent with so yeah, I was saying he could be connected to Roman, but it's consistent with what Sydney was talking about. She in Scream 2, they really talked about like how she's like cursed. Apparently this is a role that she was playing, Cassandra. I have to look into that play, but it's like it's Cassandra is connected to Troy. And I was listening to what she was saying in the movie, and it was basically like she's inherited all these issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, because this is not her problem. All of the stuff that has happened to her is because of her mama. Her mama was out there. Her mama was in them streets. Okay. Her mama was for the streets. Regardless of what happened to her, her mama was for the streets. And she messed with the wrong people, I guess. And now Sydney is just like cursed. But it would make sense for the curse to continue. People being connected to Billy, people being connected to Roman, people being connected to whoever, to the film franchise, all of these different things. Extensions of people that started this whole situation. So it's not too far fetched to believe that he could be involved. But what really gets me thinking that he could totally be involved and how it helps a lot of things make sense is the fact that he's a cop. We already had a cop in Scream 6. So the idea of Ghostface being law enforcement is not foreign to us. It's not a foreign concept. But it explains so much about why things were the way they were in Scream 3. Like, how did Roman get Cotton Weary's private phone number? Now, granted, Roman is in the industry, so maybe it's possible for him to have gotten his number, sure. But, it's a celebrity cell phone number. It's like, how do you get all this information? Billy and Stu are teenagers. Yeah, sure, they watch movies, but they were very well versed in planting evidence, like how to get away with this, basically. It would make sense for law enforcement to be coaching them. If you start thinking about it, it would make sense for law enforcement to be involved in terms of just how they got around, how they're breaking into police stations, how they're getting people's information, how to even get the voice samples in Scream 3. A lot of people hated the voice sample thing, but if you're law enforcement and you have access to, I don't know, wiretap people's phones, then you can get their voices and utilize technology, whatever they did in order to do that. That makes sense with law enforcement involved. Even the information that they found about Sydney's mom, when she was in Hollywood as Rena Reynolds, Gail Weathers could not even find anything. Gail couldn't find a lick of anything on Sydney's mom when she left Woodsboro. But they not only found out information about her, but they had pictures. So I'm thinking about all this, I'm like, it totally makes sense. Even Roman having a bulletproof vest. That's law enforcement thinking. Why do you have a bulletproof vest? Why do you have a metal detector? Or even just have the presence of mind to think about that? Like when it starts adding up, I'm like, I feel like this he could totally be involved. Because nobody else is. I mean, I don't know. I could be reaching, but this is just how I'm seeing it. And then like when Roman was talking about how, when Sydney said, "So this is all because of you," when they had that showdown in that secret room. Roman did not say yes. He says, "I'm a director, Sid. I direct." What kind of response is that? And I was like, did Roman really kill her? Or maybe our fella here did the deed. Because first we thought Billy and Stu killed her. But then we have the sign, the picture that on the back says, "I killed her." And coincidentally, he's the one that was holding it. Maybe he's the one that did it. And maybe that was just like a little nugget that they dropped in there. I don't know. This could be long form storytelling. I don't know. Or I could be reaching to the motherfucking moon. I don't know. But nevertheless, it's all looking very suspicious for me. But it also works because it could fulfill Randy's concluding chapter trilogy thing. Now, we had the first 3 Scream movies. That was a trilogy. But then we could also call Scream 4, 5, and 7, the upcoming 7, a trilogy as well. It could be the second one. And this could be another concluding chapter. Who knows? Maybe for the whole series. My husband seems to think that they need to wrap it up. But I am the person that will sit through Scream 15, okay? Like, if Jamie Lee Curtis can run around here with her gray hair and still be fighting Michael Myers, then Sidney Prescott can fight Ghostface until she's 70, as far as I'm concerned. As long as you give me a good story, I'm cool. Because there's no shortage of people who are going to want to come for her just because of the fans, you know what I'm saying? But that's me. I love this series, so I don't care for it to end. But nevertheless, it could fulfill the whole concept of a concluding chapter of going back to the beginning and discovering something that was never true to begin with, like i.e. Roman being the only killer in Scream 3. So I'm just saying it works. And now that it seems to be clear that he's not her husband, I feel like that works even better. I personally thought it would be really dark. But what if she did marry him? And what if he was Ghostface? What if Sydney married a Ghostface and procreated with him? That would have been so twisted. But the fact that they've taken him off the table kind of eliminates that, unless they're lying about casting. You just never know what they do to throw you off the scent. But I'm just saying, I love the idea of Mark Kincaid being a secret Ghostface, having a secret officer that has been orchestrating this whole thing from the beginning, from way back when Roman kicked this off. He didn't kick it off by himself, he kicked it off with a partner that we just did not know about. We saw him, but we didn't know about him. But also, I feel like other movies have been warming us up to this idea, because if you saw the movie Thanksgiving, then you know that he was ultimately our killer in Thanksgiving. And I'm sorry if I spoiled that, but hell, it's been like a year or two. So, but he was our killer in Thanksgiving. So we're no stranger to Patrick Dempsey being a villain. Not only a villain, but a killer. And I was like, I like that. And he was law enforcement in that movie too. And then in that same year, they dropped, was it the Five Nights at Freddy's, where Stu Macher, well, that's not his name in real life, but Stu's character, they brought him back into the horror like light. So I think they're warming us up to this idea, but I don't know. We'll find out. Is it February? We'll find out next year what they end up doing. But that's another thing. Like, if he's involved and if Stu is alive, I just feel like there's no way Stu is alive under the radar without the help of law enforcement. So if Stu is alive, he could have been instrumental to him staying under the radar. I know that everybody says that, not everybody, some people say that Stu is alive, some people say that he's dead. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Stu is alive? I would love for Stu to be alive. I want him to come back. Not in a fucking flashback either. Like, I want him back. I thought Stu was great. But I know that, the TV fell on him. But it's still possible. The human body is quite miraculous. Even though I know how heavy those TVs are. Because I grew up with those TVs. So it's a hard sell. But I would accept it. Tell me what you guys think. Do you guys think that Stu is alive? Or do you want Stu to be alive? I'm curious. I want him to be, just because they teased it in, what was it? Scream 6? Scream 6. They teased it. I feel like the fact that they even brought it up was like that was them checking our pulse. Would we be willing to accept it? And I think so. Absolutely. I think I accept it. What do you guys think? Brandon, get out. Talking about in the franchise. Oh my gosh, the audacity. Oh my gosh. No, not yet. I think they are going to end it though, for real. I think they're going to end it at 7. They got Sydney back into the mix, cuz she missed 6, and now that they have her back, I think they're going to end it and send her off into the sunset. But who knows, maybe they'll continue with her children. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't only suspect that Stu is alive. I don't only suspect that Mark Kincaid is involved. Oh, yes. See, Patrick understands. I would love for Stu to be alive. I also suspect this girl right here, Angelina from Scream 3. Sweet, sweet Angelina, the actress that was selected to play Sydney Prescott in Stab 3. I totally think she's involved. Now, I know your first thought is like, Brandy, what are you talking about? Angelina is dead. She is totally dead. No, well, her death was the wackest death in that entire movie, probably in the entire franchise. You never actually see the knife like penetrate. And this right here is not enough. And then another, why is Ghostface dragging her? Where is he taking her? It's almost like they laid her there just so that they could see it. Gail and the fake Gail, they could see her, and then we just accepted that she was dead. But mm-mm, I'm not buying it because Roman looked worse than that in the casket downstairs in the basement. So miss me. I'm not buying that that's enough to say that she's dead. She could easily be like some secret girlfriend, just like Scream 4 with Jill and her secret boyfriend. What if she's a secret girlfriend? What if she's Roman's secret girlfriend? And that's how she got the part. She says that she screwed Milton, but did she really? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. I suspect her, and the biggest reason why is these two reasons. This right here, Dewey was calling everybody out, okay? Dewey was like, Angelina, how did you end up all the way over there? Because when they rolled down the hill, they were not all that far from each other. She rolls down the hill. Girl, where were you? We rolled down the hill together. Where were you? And she never answered the question. Tom was in the house. Tom was in the house. Okay, yes, Tom was in the house. But girl, how did you get all the way over there? Inquiring minds want to know. But the biggest one right here, oh my gosh, don't tell me y'all missed this, was when Sydney caught her cold in the bathroom on set. And she explained it away, saying, oh, I didn't think anyone would mind if I took any souvenirs. No, no one minds that you're taking souvenirs. But girl, you got on the classic combat boots that the Scream killers always wear. Why are you standing on the toilet? Why are you standing on the toilet? That does not make any sense at all. You got on these big boots, which that was kind of the fashion back then. So that in a skirt, that's not too far fetched. Them big, thick Skechers, they was popping back in the day. So that's fine. But you have the whole Ghostface costume. She didn't just have the mask. She also had the costume. And she's standing up on the toilet. Why? That is Ghostface behavior. Okay. Sydney was very right to be suspicious. So those are my thoughts about this concept of a secret ghost face. I just feel like there has to be one. Maybe it's not Mark Kincaid, maybe it's not Angelina, but there has to be another one from Scream 3. There just has to be. It like, why is there? It just doesn't make sense to me at this point. After really thinking about this, it doesn't make sense that Roman would be the only killer. So let me know what you guys think about that, because I'm convinced that there's somebody. I would love for it to be one of them or both of them, and it was three of them the whole time. I don't know, but I'm excited for 7 though. I'm very excited for 7. I'm curious to see what they do. I was reading an article where Sydney, because I think she helped write the script. I'm like, all right, Nev Campbell, get your pen out, girl. At this point, 6 movies deep, you should, or 5 for her. You should be getting some writer or producer credit. But yeah, I'm excited for 7. I'm curious to see what they do. I'm not mad if they wrap it up. I'm not that mad. But I just want a good story. At the end of the day, I really want a good story. But share this with other movie lovers that you guys think that will enjoy this. This was so much fun. I'm here every single Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Put it on your calendars. Your girl will be here. And I mean, let me know. I want to know what you guys want to talk about. Drop a movie topic. Drop 2. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you guys want to talk about for sure. But this has been CILISIT Cinema. I'm about to be out of here. So, oh my gosh. Peace, love, and chicken grease to all of you. Oh, you guys were here for my first live show. You hold a special place in my HEART. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more awesome content.